So clearly, this is not good for the Chinese students. But I think, let me talk a little bit about why this is actually so bad for the U.S. And I think the negative effects really fall into two areas. So one is practical, and then the second is ideological. So from a practical perspective, as you mentioned, 370,000 Chinese foreign students in the United States. So while it's only 1,000 so far that have had their visas revoked, I think this will have a chilling effect, and this might only be the beginning. So not only do many college towns, many universities, local economies depend on these foreign students, but the backbone of the U.S.'s scientific R&D apparatus really are foreign students and Chinese graduate students, postdocs, etc. So without this very, very crucial workforce, I think the U.S. Ability to conduct cutting-edge R&D will be affected. So I think this is one very negative practical impact beyond the economic impact. Then from an ideological perspective, and this is more subtle, but one of the challenges the U.S. has always faced is that it is a state but not a nation. So the U.S. talks about it's exceptional because anyone can become an American as long as one subscribes to these American ideals of democracy, free markets, treating people fairly, due process, these things. And now these students, it seems, are being targeted for who they are. And where do you stop? Because if we say, look at an MIT, look at a Stanford, do they do any work that supports the U.S. military? And in a world where these technologies like AI, robotics, 5G, et cetera, quantum, almost any technology that we can talk about really is dual use. So how do you draw that line? So I think what's happening here from an ideological perspective is this is undermining the very notion of how the U.S. defines itself. So I think all in all, this is really a terrible thing for everyone involved.